We're covering it. We're doing it. Move your butt to the edge of the chair. This is what it was made for. Let's deal with the topic of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his wife, Aisha. Most people who follow me know that I don't mind covering topics that other people might feel uncomfortable with. Now, if you're dealing with the Quran and talking about Islam, this topic was going to come up. We all knew it, and we're going to cover it today. And that is that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when he was in his 40s, 50s, married Aisha, who was 6, and consummated his marriage with her at the age of 9. And how do I feel about that? Get ready for the hottest take you've ever heard. I think it's a real moot point. Oh, you expect that, will you? Allow me to explain. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was born 1400 years ago. And I am pretty sure that 1400 years ago, people did not have the modern sensibilities that they had today. Do I think child marriage was a thing? Yes. Do I think they called it child marriage back then? Absolutely not. In fact, if you look at the history of marriage, you'll be quite surprised that it's only like, I'm going to say 200 years. I feel as though I'm being fairly liberal with my gap here, of when the age to marry someone was raised. And this is the wonderful thing about the modern age that we live in, is that we really are the outliers in the entirety of humanity. We stand out like a sore thumb compared to the swathes of people who have graced the planet Earth. While I'm not here advocating for child marriage within the modern age, I'm not going to deny that it happened previously, and it happened at such a scale. I'm more than happy to be proven wrong here, but I think the problem people have between the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Aisha and their consummation is not the society, not the traditions and the culture upon which the Prophet, peace be upon him, was born into. It is the fact that it is the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And I do not believe that he, peace be upon him, was doing anything controversial or transgressive in his own time. And I think we need to remember that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a human. He was born human. He is not a deity. He is not the Messiah. He is the messenger of God, but he is human. He, peace be upon him, is doing what other people were doing around the same time. Now, it is my belief that when you are analysing or looking at the past, that you should avoid as much as possible any ounce of presentism. Now, presentism is an analysis where you take today's values, standards, and perspectives and input them into the past. And the difficulty you have here is, again, we in the 21st century are the outliers. Additionally, when you engage with presentism and ascribe values, what you're doing is casting a moral judgment based on today, not back then. Do I think the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, marrying Aisha is amoral? Well, not back then. And therefore, talking about it now, and do I think it's moral, is moot. Because back then, it was okay. It was fine. It was a practice by many people